riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Why I Hate This Album, the show where we pick an album or a song, listen to it for an entire week straight, and then come back here and tell you fine listeners whether or not we hate it, and if so, why. I'm one of your hosts, with you as always, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Cagney to my Lacey, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how are you doing?
Garrett, I have been having an insane week. Well, an insane 2 weeks, really. A couple of weeks that make every single other How Have You Been Doing This Week segment seem inconsequential by comparison. It has been nuts. But all that got pushed to the side. When you went to Wales with a girlfriend you assumed loved you only to get goddamn Wicker Man. So let's not talk about how I'm doing. You are very badly singed. You're badly bee stung. How are you, my friend? How did you escape the fire? How did you escape the bees? How did you escape the Welsh and the girlfriend you must now realize was never interested in you at all, but instead only cared for the harvest?
You know I don't like talking about my actual private life.
Fair enough. Track number 4.
No, Wales was lovely, Tim. I was almost Wicker Man, and it was not her fault. She was in a very, what can I say, improvised jail situation. She was bear-suited, not her choice. We got her out of the bear suit, got me out of the Wicker Man. Luckily, the whole bees thing was a deleted scene, so no one even knows to do that anymore. And bing, bang, boom, I got to tour a little bit of Wales, and I'm back, baby. Refreshed, detimmed,
What I'm
retimmed.
hearing from that is you escaped and she pretended to be on your side so that she could Wicker Man you a second time. And I think you're dumb enough to fall for that. When is your next trip
Tim?
to the Wales, Garrett?
One harvest cycle from now. Why?
No reason. Carry
Got
on.
it. Timmy, what album have you been listening to for an entire week straight?
Garrett, I have been listening to the 16-song 1995 Greatest Hits record by Styx, the band Styx, and also the 16-song 1996 Greatest Hits Part 2 album by Styx, the band Styx. Here's a spoiler alert for you, Garrett. They don't have 16 hits. They definitely don't have 32.
Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure they have 17 albums, implying at least every album up to the greatest hits gets a hit.
Disagree. This album has very few songs from their first 6 albums. It's got like 2, 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Ugh, we'll get there.
We will get there. And Tim, because we are doing a greatest hits, it comes with a slightly different set of rules. I want to allow us the space to improvise, to veto, and to cut short where necessary so that we don't get hung up. I mean, listen, it's 16 songs. We don't want this to turn into a 2-part episode. We've got other things to do. I've certainly got to see to these burns, so let's just allow ourselves the freedom to say, you know what? We're done with this song. Let's keep going.
Yes.
Fair enough?
Absolutely.
Alrighty, Tim, and after an entire week with Styx by the band Styx, the greatest hit album, 16 songs, best of Styx. Do you hate this album?
I don't hate this yet, but I am very close. The problem with this album, and we will get much more into this, is that this is a band that can be excellent for minutes on end, and yet chooses to turn in some of the worst songs we have heard in possibly years, and on their greatest hits album.
Interesting.
I was not pleased with this album, Garrett. I was expecting a greatest hits album. I was expecting hits. I got a couple hits. Unacceptable.
You got 4 hits?
I got 1 out of every 4 songs on their first of 2 16 songs. God damn it, Garrett. You know what? I might hate this. I'm so close. I'm so angry.
I like that the hate might actually be coming just purely from the letdown of it. It might not even be the quality.
The quality is involved, Garrett.
Wait, you know what? You know what? We got to stop.
All right.
This isn't general thoughts.
All right.
What's wrong with us?
Fair enough. I'm sorry, Garrett. Do you hate this?
No, I don't.
Oh, come on.
Honestly, think it's pretty great. No, we already kind of revealed it. We started down the path already. 1 out of every 4 is a greatest hit, and the other 3 songs you might have heard maybe. but you wish they'd stop.
You've heard but don't like.
Okay, you don't hate it, I don't hate it. I feel like you're going to get there. I think for me, if I get a lot of enjoyment out of this episode, it's going to keep me from hating it.
Oh, that's not the way to do it, though.
That's
all right.
It's because I'm so on the... Am I really on the fence? You know what? Look at me. Let's keep going. You don't hate it. I don't hate it. Before we can talk about the album itself, I am curious, what's your history with Styx? Are you a big Styx kid? Big Styx head that I didn't know about? What's your exposure?
Definitely not, Garrett. I was familiar with, as you said, 4 of these songs. I'd heard a couple others before. Honestly, even some of the hits I was unaware were by the band Styx. For example, who knew Styx was responsible for Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto? Not this guy.
I might have gotten it on a trivia night, but I think it would have been 50-50.
Yeah,
I thought it was, you know what? If asked who wrote that song and performed it, I would have said Devo.
That's great.
Equally as weird.
Yeah, it does fit with that. So, I mean, yeah, I've heard some of their songs. This is one of those bands, like, I knew that Come Sail Away was them. I knew that Lady was them. And there were 2 other songs that I was like, yeah, no, I could probably sing the chorus of this. What about you?
I'm pretty much spot on. I won't waste everybody's time. It's exactly the same as you. However, I do want to say, had you asked me previously, I would have said I both know and like Styx.
You know what? Yes, because this is one of those bands like Journey, right? Where you assume...
It turns out I meant Journey.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. A lot of these, like this band, REO Speedwagon, Kansas, Boston, there's like 4 or 5 bands whose songs, it's like they form some sort of Elephant Six-esque collective, and you're just like, I don't know whose songs are whose. They're not the same bands.
No, but they're all kind of the same band.
Yeah.
And it's just this weird, like, fart rock, bar blues
We'll
thing.
get there. Yeah, we'll get there. But it's why we need a word for classic rock that is not... Well, we'll get there.
Yeah. God, we are eager beavers, and we can't be. So that's your history. That's my history. That is to say, a completely misremembered history between the both of us. Probably similar to most of our listeners. Hell, half of our listeners are under the age of 35, and they're going, who the fuck is Styx?
We'll play some songs. It's... Ugh.
They got some good ones. Anyway, that's your history. That's my history. Before we get into the general thoughts, despite the fact that we've done it 3 times, I want to know about this band. I did almost no research. I thought I knew them. Turns out I don't even know their music. Tim, who is Styx and how did this all come to be?
Styx, well, what would become Styx got its start in August 1961 with twin brothers John Panozzo and Chuck Panozzo, who played drums and guitar respectively in the Roseland neighborhood of Chicago. They were raised extremely Catholic, and at the age of 7, they took music lessons from their uncle. They began playing weddings for $15 at the age of 12, but then they realized that you just cannot have a good band if all you have is drums and guitar. It has not been done.
It will never be done.
Exactly, right. What did the band need? Accordion.
They said, okay, Aqualung, we'll do you one better.
Right. Or, as Microsoft Word suggested as I was typing up my notes, the squeeze box. After dark, possibly. I don't know.
What, did it want to change accordion to squeeze box?
It suggested it as an alternative if I used the word too much, yes.
Delete that application.
They got their also extremely Catholic neighbor, Dennis DeYoung, to sing and play accordion, or squeeze box. And so now they're the most irritating garage band in all of Chicago. In 61, they named themselves the Trade Winds. In 64, Chuck left to go to the seminary, although he would quickly return. They renamed themselves TW4, or They Were Four, when they added guitarist Tom Nardini in 64. And then that guy was replaced by John Cruelzy. And then in 1970, James Young joined on second guitar right after finishing his degrees in mechanical and aerospace engineering.
Jesus.
Yeah, too good for this band. They were spotted by a talent scout in 1972 and got signed to a kind of indie record label, Wooden Nickel Records. They changed their name to Styx after trying out dozens of other names and finding out that that was the only one that no one hated.
I think it's a good name.
Styx is, of course, a fake river from Greek mythology that forms the border between Earth and the underworld, where ferryman Charon transports the souls of the dead into the afterlife. But Garrett, it is also a river of incredible power. You see, dipping a baby in the waters was what made Achilles invincible, except for his heel, which his parents didn't think to dip in afterward. They could just turn him over and get a little of that water.
I mean, I guess you gotta hold him by something.
Honestly, dip your whole hand with the baby in, and then the baby's completely invincible, and you have a hand which cannot be destroyed by mortals.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to go all that way, you go on that big journey to the river Styx, you're going to dip your baby. Why not have a dip yourself, right?
Yeah, listen, if the baby's invincible by the water, that implies to me it cannot drown. Just throw that fucking baby in the water.
That's true. The moment that baby starts to sink, invincible. Question. Did you say the boatman on the river Styx is named Sharon?
Charon.
Sharon?
It's with a CH, Garrett.
Sharon?
Yeah, you got it. Anywho, Garrett, we have the classic lineup of Styx, kinda, at least for the first, few albums, and the final name, and they start releasing albums. They put out Styx in 72, which, according to Wikipedia, hit number 207 on the Billboard 200. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah.
But they're already starting this kind of prog or art or whatever rock, bullshit rock. And I don't think anything from that album made it onto its greatest hits collection because there were no hits or even good songs on that album. In 73, they did a little bit better with Styx 2. That hit number 20 on the Billboard 200 chart and was certified gold. Garrett, that was mostly notable for having the song Lady on it and not much else. Yeah. The same year, they released The Serpent is Rising, which Dennis DeYoung said was, and I'm quoting here, one of the worst albums recorded and produced in the history of music.
We'll see.
Critics didn't disagree. That made it to number 192. There's also nothing from that on the greatest hits record. In 1974, they released Man of Miracles, about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that features a very unique image of our collective Catholic God that I am super into. It's some sort of wizard man.
Ooh.
Critics hated it. It only hit number 154 on the Billboard 200. In 74 and 75, though, the song Lady started to hit on the radio. It eventually would become a top 10 single, so they were able to sign with A&M Records despite the dismal sales and critical hatred of all their previous garbage albums. They released Equinox in 1975. That would eventually go gold, and Crystal Ball in 76. They lost a guitarist who wanted to spend time with his family, so they picked up Tommy Shaw, who would go on to date Linda Blair. Fun fact about Tommy Shaw.
Linda Blair. It just blows my mind that somebody could be in a hit rock band that's had multiple top 200 hits. I mean, despite us not knowing any of the songs on those early albums. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to quit. You got another
Garrett,
band
they were
lined
doing
up?
really badly.
I mean, they were doing badly, but they weren't destitute.
They were pretty destitute, Garrett.
How? Okay, but how are you have an album that, if Texas Toast hits 150 on the Billboard 200, I'm going to feel really good about that.
I'm going to feel like we didn't beat Styx.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to change your perspective. I think you and I have a very different view of what 150 on the Billboard 200 looks like. Have we hit it yet? No.
Well, I'm sure we do, Garrett. I'm a perfectionist. At this point, they had released...
Wait, do you think we're going to hit number one?
No. But top 10, yes.
Wow. We've never even... No, I was going to say we've never been top 10 on iTunes, but that's untrue. We have been top 10.
We made it to top 3 once.
Interesting.
Not in years.
Yeah, no, the numbers have gone nowhere but down. More people are listening, but they like it less.
That's right. So, Garrett, they've released 6 albums, and all 6 were pretty much failures. They had a gold record, but, I mean, this is the 70s, right? They're a prog rock band. They're a quote-unquote hard rock band, although they're the softest hard rock band I've ever heard. They had to break this streak, right?
Sure.
How are they going to do that? Well, Garrett, I'm glad you asked. You see, Dennis DeYoung, a.k.a. Denny, realized that the number 7 was lucky, and they were coming up on their 7th album, so he convinced everyone to multiply that luck by releasing their 7th album, The Grand Illusion, on July 7th, 1977. 7777. 7. Garrett, it worked. That album hit number 6 on the US Billboard 200 and it sold 3 million copies in the US alone on the strength of nothing but the number 7.
All with the power of numerology.
Absolutely, Garrett. That album also featured that Come Sail Away song that I know almost exclusively from South Park and from listening to you sing in the shower.
Please don't. That's not for you.
Yeah, we'll talk. In 1978, they released Pieces of 8, their 8th album, which hit number 6 on the Billboard chart and sold another 3 million copies. In 1979, they released Cornerstone, which hit number 2 and sold another 3 million copies. Garrett, this is all because of 7. It's amazing.
That is, wait, no, sure, all right.
That album also featured their only number 1 single, the absolutely terrible song Babe, as well as a song called Eddie, which was pleading for Edward Kennedy not to run for president, possibly out of concern for his life. Eddie, now don't you run? You know you're a bootlegger's son, and you just saw what it's done to others. Eddie, don't you run? It's the end of all your fun, and you saw what they've done to your brothers. There also started to be a bunch of tension within the band at this time. DeYoung wanted to be more pop and get all that delicious money, continue with these 3 million sales per album, and Young and Tommy Shaw, they wanted to stay true to that rock and roll ethos that I would argue they don't have.
It's definitely rock and roll.
In 1980, they were named the most popular rock band in the US by Gallup polls, Garrett, our most trusted polling source.
What a weird poll for Gallup.
Yeah, I mean, they were polling about, Teddy Kennedy and Reagan and etc.
Styx.
But also Styx, yeah. In 81, they released Paradise Theater, which hit number 1 for the first and only time in their career. That's their only number 1 album. It was super popular, of course, because it was a concept album about Chicago's Paradise Theater, which was demolished 25 years before this album was released, and it was a metaphor for the state of the US in the 1970s and 1980s. Dreadfully boring stuff. We'll talk about a couple songs on this that don't make any sense out of context.
Absolutely.
That album was also notable for featuring the song Snowblind, which has been alternatively cast as a pro and anti-cocaine song, with Shaw saying, "I did some research into those lyrics. Everybody was doing it back then. It's not my excuse, but it was just what you did. If you were going to a party back in those days, cocaine was just one of the things on the menu. I never did heroin because I thought that meant I was doing heavy drugs, which shows you the insanity of doing drugs. I probably should have done heroin because I understand heroin actually makes you feel good. Cocaine just makes you stupid."
Boy, it was really all over the place in that thought.
yeah, probably on quite a bit of cocaine.
He started so vehemently anti-drug and then ended with, "I probably should have done heroin."
Yeah. More importantly, though, the song Snowblind featured backmasked satanic lyrics that said, "Satan moves through our voices," which angered a bunch of Christian groups, and also Tipper Gore, who should maybe be in the running as the moral paragon of our show, but she did confirm that the song was satanistic, if not outright satanic. It's an important distinction. That is the kind of nuance that you can expect from reasonable people. Arkansas then passed a bill requiring all albums with satanic messages backmasked into them to contain a warning label, mentioning that they did so.
Warning, may summon Beelzebub.
Absolutely. Styx's next album, Kilroy Was Here, is a tiresome response to this whole controversy. It's a rock opera that tells of a future in which a fascist and theocratic government and the Majority for Musical Morality, MMM, have outlawed rock music. The story's protagonist, Kilroy, is a former rock star who's been imprisoned by the MMM and the evangelist preacher, Dr. Everett Righteous. The future society is partially run by robots called Robotos, who serve as Kilroy's jailer, and he escapes or whatever. It's real stupid.
Or awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Maybe we should do a second Styx album and just do that.
Kinda. I just want to hear the story of Kilroy.
Oh, I'll get into it when we talk about Mr. Roboto, don't worry.
Perfect.
They did an excessive Pink Floyd-esque stage show for this Kilroy affair that did not go over well. People hated it. They wanted them to play the goddamn
did not
hits,
like it.
not all of this Kilroy nonsense. They didn't want to have a whole fucking stage play to watch. At the Texas Jam at the Cotton Bowl, they were booed off stage, and then Tommy Shaw quit to be in the damn Yankees.
This is just ridiculous. I just want to say that. Like, the whole Kilroy was here and the stage show, and everyone's just like, the fuck is this?
Yeah. They released a live album called Caught in the Act in '84, but by that time the band had basically broken up. Various members did various solo projects, then they reformed in 1990, releasing Edge of the Century, featuring the song Show Me the Way, a Catholic-themed song with a music video directed by Michael Bay that got a huge Gulf War bump because lyrics about keeping the Catholic faith also go well with bombing folks, and it got a Desert Shield remix. It was their last song to ever do well.
It got a Desert Shield remix is what you just said.
That's right.
Do you have any insight into what that means?
Nope. I did not bother to look.
Okay, I'm just going to say, if I had to guess, we shouldn't move past this. It's the most interesting thing you've said so far. I'm guessing they added a bunch of tank and gun noises.
I'm hoping that's what it is. Otherwise,
listeners,
it's way weirder.
Write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. What is that?
In 1991, Chuck Panozzo was diagnosed with HIV. Although he would keep that diagnosis a secret for a decade. And I just want to say, if you look at the notes that I have here that Gino wrote, after that statement, Gino has simply written, you know. I don't know, Gino. Gino, what am I supposed to know?
Yeah, what does that even... Listen, obviously it's derogatory.
I know, but he's dead asleep.
How?
He will not answer.
No, sometimes I think he's faking it, but I'll burn him a little bit and he doesn't move.
Interesting.
So he's definitely asleep.
They were dropped from their record label in 92. They released the Greatest Hits compilation of the week in 95. John Panozzo was unable to participate. This is a different Panozzo, the twin brother, due to liver cirrhosis and its complications. He would die of GI hemorrhage and cirrhosis at 47 in 1996. At this point in the notes, Gino has drawn a very elaborate cross.
Oh, but did you see what's at the bottom of the cross there? There's a little tipped over bottle of booze. I get it.
Okay, all right. Come on.
I mean, clearly he had a drinking problem.
Yeah,
come on, 47 cirrhosis. What of course. What are we talking about? We're
96 to finally celebrate being free of John Panozzo. God damn it, Gino. In 96, they released a second Greatest Hits album. The same year, Dennis DeYoung released an album called The Hunchback of Notre Dame, an album and full stage musical he adapted and wrote from the Victor Hugo novel, which sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
In 97, Styx released a live album, Return to Paradise, featuring a reworked song from that Hunchback album. In 99, they released a new studio album called Brave New World that was a critical failure, but on the other hand was also critically derided. In 2000, they did shows with REO Speedwagon and released a dual live CD, Arch Allies. In 2001, Chuck Panozzo came out as gay and also as having HIV/AIDS at the Human Rights Campaign banquet. In 2003, they released Cyclorama, which somehow featured guest appearances by Tenacious D, which possibly broke up today, Billy Bob Thornton, and Brian Wilson.
No, they didn't, but almost.
No, all right. In 2004, they did Eric Clapton's Crossroads Guitar Festival, where they covered B.B. King and Hendrix songs.
Ugh.
If you want to hear those, Garrett, in 2005, they released a covers album called Big Bang Theory with Beatles, The Who, Blind Faith, Hendrix, CSNY, Allman Brothers, Willie Dixon, and Ray Charles covers.
You know what we have to do?
Nope.
Yes.
I don't want to.
I know neither. That's the whole
kill
thing.
the band Styx?
Even if they're dead, we'll have to do it. It could be really good.
It might be. I'm betting it's not. I'm betting that it's Styx versions of those songs.
Which could be really good.
Yeah, but you've heard them. Their instincts are so bad.
That's true. Anyway.
In 2017, they released a concept album about a mission to Mars called The Mission.
Great.
In 2021, they released a new album called Crash of the Crown, which peaked at 114 on the Billboard 200 and remained there for exactly 1 week. In 2022, they were inducted into the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum Hall of Fame, and Dennis DeYoung was introduced as a songwriter, and that is it for Styx Lethes.
And a... to you.
Enough.
Ugh, God, how dare they have such a long history?
I don't know.
That was 20 minutes of Styx.
Yeah.
God damn it. Anyway, excellent history, Tim. That brings us to general thoughts, and there's a lot to say here. We've already started the conversation, but let's back it up. Let's do it up proper. let's get some of the basics out of the way before we get into it. Let's talk about sound, era, influences, and sounds likes, if possible.
I have sounds likes littered throughout this.
Sure, and we can do it throughout the songs just to give everybody a sense of it. You know, we already said it really, right? The Journeys, the Chicagos, the Bostons.
But softer than all of those things. And
more electronic.
And softer. There are two things these people do
on here.
Because those bands, they're rock forward, if you will. Like, sure, they've got their ballads, they've got their softer moments, but these guys, it's either soft or it is synth
rock
and
opera.
vocoder.
Yeah. God, I love the vocoder.
Yeah. I mean, they pick it up. There are some songs on here that are genuinely kind of fun. They're up-tempo. They're a nice break from what I can only describe as church music. But yeah, so this is arena rock. It's AOR. It's soft rock. It's adult contemporary. It's prog rock. And I guess it's technically also, it falls under the category of like classic rock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but it's in that second tier, the Foreigner, REO Speedwagon, Kansas, Boston, Night Ranger.
Right.
They get lumped into this category on the radio and in some other, like, what genre are the Beatles? What genre are the Rolling Stones? What genre is CCR? The Doors? Styx. What?
Yeah,
that should not be the same. It's a distinctly different era. It's made by people with a distinctly different mindset. It's weird that this ever gets grouped in with classic rock. I mean, it's weird that like Nirvana now kind of does too sometimes. But when you say classic rock, I'm thinking of something that is not this.
Well, now it's confusing because classic rock is a genre and it's what you just listed. But now old rock, aka classic rock, is 80s, 90s.
Right.
So it gets very confusing.
Yeah. But this owes quite a bit to like the Pink Floyds and the Elton Johns and the Queens of the world. It's rock that doesn't really have any basis in blues.
Yeah, it's severely lacking in a bass player.
Right. Which is weird because all of those bands that I just listed do in fact have a basis in blues, but
right. But they replace that like rock, and you said it earlier, that rock forward approach. They are much more synth harmonies and, well, I think that's really it. And guitar. They're synth harmonies and guitar, where those other bands are guitar, bass, and drums.
Yes. And they also, the songs, because they do rock on a couple songs. You have to give that to them.
Oh, but fuck yeah.
Even those songs, it seems like they have taken a model exclusively from Stairway to Heaven, where every song has this like 4-minute extended slow acoustic intro, sometimes with synth and nonsense in it, and then followed by this extravagant upbeat second half, like with the guitar solos and the loudness and such.
Oh, sure. And the big harmonies and the drum breakdown. And they're ultimately not even saying much because you had like 90 seconds of intro. You got to squeeze in that guitar solo. So you got a 5-minute song with like a verse and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot of lyrics on a lot of these. And, I appreciate because a lot of these songs are like 4 or 5 of these songs were written to be in like concept albums or rock operas. So I appreciate the fact that it's maybe part of some bigger story.
Yes.
But it's weird because a lot of these are so theatrical sounding, if that makes sense, that it's hard. Every time I hear it, I don't know what the musical is supposed to be, but you can tell that it's sung as if there are actors on a stage doing stuff while this is going on. Like, it feels like you're listening. Yeah, it feels like you're listening to the soundtrack of a musical for a number of these songs.
Well, let's bring it up right now. Clearly, these dudes are pretty into The Who. Basically, every one of their songs that isn't a sappy, boring ballad is like, now let's do our version of Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's robots and weird nonsense. The other thing that differentiates these guys from a lot of like classic rock or rock in general, Garrett, there is a weird lack of libido on this record. These guys don't fuck.
They're flaccid.
Yeah.
They're just soft boys.
Yeah. This band feels like the musical equivalent of like a sweater vest and pleated Dockers. Ugh.
Just a big closet full of khaki pants.
Yeah. It's also, some of this might be Christian music or Catholic music. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But, I mean, we should say, though, this is a really, really good band that makes almost intentionally, defiantly bad music. It's
just like, boring music.
Yeah,
it's not like it's poorly made. It's excellently made.
Yeah, but it's just every one of their instincts is wrong. They zig when they should zag. The musicians are good to great, but like they never really rise above that. It's like, you know, when you watch one of those like classic vinyl or classic albums, those shows, you know, where the producers, they'll take like Nevermind or Disraeli Gears or whatever, and they'll show like all the elements. Like here's nothing but the double-tracked vocals, and then they add in the rhythm tracks, they throw in the guitars, they move the levels around, and you can see like how important Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic were to that final sound of Nirvana.
God, it's my favorite thing to watch.
Somehow, this band does the opposite of like the whole is somehow less than the sum of its parts. It's not even the sum.
Instead of getting like more excited as they add tracks, you're just like, it's
like they're adding in extra parts and somehow it gets quieter, and I don't know how that's possible. It's so
See, they
weird.
Cancel each other out, man.
Fair enough. They're so good that what they're doing is they're playing like inverse waveforms, and so it's noise.
It's about what you're not hearing.
The bass cancels out the guitar. It's
okay. So, but you started down a good path. This band is really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I don't even know if the band is good. The musicians are all very good. I don't know. I can't say for sure that it's a good band. It might be a very bad band.
That's fair. I do think that we have done ourselves a disservice with the greatest hits because it doesn't allow us to listen to any of these songs in context and maybe not be inundated with these floppy ballads.
Sure. They do seem to have put, I mean, I have never listened to a full Styx album, so I don't know. I assume that the albums aren't wall-to-wall ballads with occasional rockers thrown in there. But Garrett, I think we have to come back to this. Every one of these songs, as we talk through it, this was on a greatest hits album. Some of them it will make sense, kinda. But,
sure.
I mean, a good band that makes good music, none of these songs make the cut.
Oh, I don't know about that. See, okay. And here's maybe the biggest distinction that we should make going into this for the listeners. I think I start at a higher level of enjoyment of this type of music than you. I think you particularly don't enjoy this as much as I do. So you're already starting lower than me.
Quite possibly. But my point is that at least 12 of these songs should not be...
12 shouldn't be. Out of 16, 12 are not worth it.
Are not worth greatest hits albums. I would argue maybe they're at best B-sides. Like maybe don't even put those on the main albums.
They're not worth seeking out with your ears. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So we're at a 75% hate. Done.
And so let's also talk about just the vocal stylings of this band because they're unique, right? It's Broadway to Journey, pretty much, with an Elton John in the middle.
Yes.
And then they harmonize like Queen on the big songs. Yeah, it's like a fucking Billy Joel song, which doesn't rock.
Yeah, Billy Joel doesn't rock.
Yeah, and if you're capable of Queen and you're giving me Billy Joel, not good Billy Joel, bad Billy Joel, that's just flaccid, man. God, okay, anyway, let's not get fixated. So musically, impressive. Every instinct is wrong. I think I enjoy it a little bit more than you do, just in general, and that's fine. This is all subjective, folks.
When it really hits, I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yes. Highs are high, lows are low, and it's mostly lows all the time. What else do we need to say, Tim? Because we're already behind schedule.
I think that perfectly takes us into song number 1, Lady 95. This starts off way softer than I remembered.
Oh, it starts exactly as I recall.
And we get the synth that will permeate almost every moment of the next 16 songs. This song to me, and we'll get into the lyrics here in a second, but it feels like the theme song, like picture this. We live in a world where you've got mega churches, right?
Sure.
But instead of a mega church, like that's a cult, like a legit cult. Like, so the Branch Davidians, they have a 10,000 seater in Houston or Colorado Springs. Heaven's Gate's right across the street. The People's Temple's got one. It feels like the overly enthusiastic theme music that would accompany, like, I don't know, a lady cult leader, or possibly the main lady of a cult leader, his favorite gal, if you will.
Sounds like a cult hymn.
Yes, there you go.
A feministic cult hymn.
Yes.
Interesting. I like it. It is a ode to lady. That's for goddamn sure.
I like this too because, like, most songs, and some of their songs too, will pick a name, throw it out there.
Sure.
But this one's for all the ladies, Gareth.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it might be a lady of the evening.
Yeah, so I thought that too. Is a lady of the morning, is he different? Is he specifically saying she's not a prostitute? Or is this perhaps a prostitute who is so into her prostitution that she begins in the morning?
Oh, now that's a great question. Listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. Can you get a morning prostitute?
You can. It's extra, but you can.
Okay, well, hold on. I want to distinguish from a service, because we do live in a modern age. It's just you're messaging a prostitute.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't walk the streets and try to pick one up, Garrett. There.
Well, I don't do either. That's why I'm not exactly educated on the matter, and I'm upset that you seem to be. My point being, old school style. If we got any listeners out there with knowledge on the subject, hatePodMail@gmail.com, could you pick up a street walking sex worker in the morning?
Again,
Not like
I will
4
answer this
a.m.
question. You can. You absolutely can. There are some that are still out there by 8. Here's the problem. One, for
Is that
some
the
reason,
end of the shift?
right. Well, so one,
Ooh.
it's been a busy shift and they're still out there, or 2, for whatever reason, they were unchosen.
Oh, wow. So
Probably
you're
gonna
either
bleep
getting
a
the last
lot
kid
of
at
that.
kickball or the most popular
Yes, and either one you don't want.
Good
We're gonna
point,
bleep
Tim.
a lot of that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, for my own well-being. Let's get into it a little bit, Tim, if I may. Lady, when I'm with you, I'm smiling. Give me, whoa, your love.
Yeah,
It's a good
now
one.
imagine there's a cult leader on stage. The choir is singing behind her as the lady ascends through the stage and up to him like the morning sun or whatever.
I pictured a man parked in his Toyota a mere block away looking at a lady, mistress, or even prostitute standing on the corner, and he's just making his plans.
I like that this is the song that's in his head as he's just like
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a story, it's a song of affection.
Well, sure. A good example of this is the Wolf of Wall Street, where he is
On the Quaaludes.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's driving and he's
Or
doing
trying to.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job of it, and then it shows you what actually happened and he was not doing so this is in this man's head. The first scene is he's sitting in that car and it's lady, and then it cuts to him and he's just chewing on his gums.
That's better than what I thought you were going to say.
But again, lady, okay, so lady of the morning, that's what she calls it, right? So lady, from the moment I saw you standing all alone, you gave all the love that I needed. So
That
shy.
sounds like a prostitute. I just want to be
So
really
shy, like a child who had grown.
clear. Okay. Here's the best case scenario there. We got a big situation.
Okay.
Listen, they did it in the movie. She had sex with that boy.
Fair enough.
And it was nice and legal. Let's make a time code note, because we're going to need some bleeps.
You're my lady of the morning. Love shines in your eyes, sparkling, clear, and loving. You're my lady. To me, lady of the morning, again, so there's a lady of the morning, there's of course a king of the night, and she is his lady of the morning. Together they form your god, and they would like to see your wife alone in their quarters for exactly 38 minutes.
I love this. Yes, some sort of feminist-led cult, and this is the ode. What's the right word? The pledge? This is the pledge song? The whole group pledges to them with this song?
Theme song, yeah.
The theme song. It's a hymn, because it is in celebration of their god.
Yes.
Judy. Anyway, or, possibly some sort of big situation. So shy. God, that's upsetting. Anyway, the song continues. Lady, turn me on when I'm lonely. Show me all of your charms. Evenings When you lay down beside me, just take me gently into your arms. Is she an evening lady or a morning lady? Are they the same lady? Does he have two ladies? One is his night lady and one is his day lady.
He sounds like some sort of man baby who needs some sort of comfort lady all the time.
You know, Tim, I didn't want to judge because who am I to say the type of emotional and physical support two people give one another?
Oh, you're the worst person to judge any of this.
Oh, yeah, rude. Anyway, but yes, I did stumble a bit over the imagery here, like it's some sort of big lady, like maybe a Hulk lady, like cradling this man.
There are some people that are very into what you're describing.
She's such a big lady.
Honestly, if you describe this in like a lot of detail, we will get some new listeners.
I don't think we should court them.
All right. They're very, very loyal as long as you always talk about big ladies.
Well, here's the thing, Tim. What do we do if it turns out that that's what really hits?
Well, we become a service to perverts.
But that's not what I want to do.
That's not what I want to do either, but that's what we're doing.
I mean, if you pay me enough.
Really? What's enough?
Oh,
you know what? We'll discuss.
If you paid me enough, I would happily write weird fan fiction for people that are into giant women. That number is $200,000 a year.
But you have to.
How many do I will write? I think they're 52 stories.
Okay, but we're paying you by the project. If you miss a week, we're taking some of that money away.
That's only fair.
Me and my fellow giant lady enthusiasts.
They're so big.
Now, how big are we? No, you know what? Let's not.
I think She-Hulk sized.
I don't know how big that is.
Like
I didn't watch the
6'8"?
show.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No. They're going to want much bigger women, Garrett.
Oh, that's really weird.
yeah. Like
how big?
10 foot minimum.
Minimum. That's a little big girl? We should call it not that. That's a little big lady.
Sure.
That's a little big lady.
Don't be gross.
I'm not. I'm saying that's a small big lady. In the big lady world, that's small. God damn it. So what's the upper limit here, Tim?
I mean
60? Is that crazy? Are we talking crazy?
I mean, I think, listen, if you write stories about a 60-footer, there will be people that will read that and will give you money for it.
I just got mouth sweats with the casual nature with which you just said a 60-footer. That is horrific. Horrific.
Yeah.
Do not be so familiar with these perverted ways. God. You know what? The rest of my notes are over. Track number 2, The Best of Times.
This song sounds exactly like LT's Rocket Man.
I can see that, except with a vocoder.
Well, sure, but like the intro, the Tonight's the Night We Make History,
yes,
is sung exactly like She Packed My Bags Last Night pre-flight.
No disagreement here. Absolutely. Still not a bad song.
No, this one suffers a little bit because it is a random part of the story from their excellent Paradise Theater concept album. The one about the Chicago theater that closed in like the 50s, 1956, I believe.
Who doesn't love a good song about a theater?
That closed some 25 years before. Anyway, tonight's the night we'll make history, honey, you and I, because I'll take any risk to tie back the hands of time and stay with you here tonight. And of course, the vocoder kicks in on the with you tonight, where that is repeatedly... Yes, repeatedly intoned by some sort of robotic Neil Young for no reason.
It is very similar to Transformer Man.
Similar and inferior.
Well, of course. God, I love that album. Any whoozleby. Tim, you got any theories here? Because it sounds like some sort of time experiment to me.
It could be, yeah. I mean, I think this is, for me, I think that this is fairly straightforward. It's about having a good time during objectively shitty moments in history, right? So, I know you feel these are the worst of times. I do believe it's true. When people lock their doors and hide inside, rumor has it, it's the end of paradise. But I know if the world just passed us by, baby, maybe I know I wouldn't have to cry. No. The best of times are when I'm alone with you. So he's saying, like, it's like falling hopelessly in love with the prettiest gal you ever did see in the gulag. You know, sure, you had to work 14 hours a day, but you got to see.
Why are they communists?
Well, no. This is an example, Garrett. It's,
I see.
Okay, let's say this, Garrett. Somebody met the love of their life on work detail on a Scientologist Sea Org ship, right? Maybe they were thrown overboard together. They committed some sort of unforgivable sin on the same day, and so they were ceremoniously thrown overboard as punishment. And, you know, while waiting for the ship to come back and treading water, they got to talking, you know, love finds a way. I think Jeff Goldblum said that. My point is, Garrett, that I think this song is about that. It's about even during, like,
the most difficult of circumstances.
Yeah. The Nazis have occupied our country, but I was having a good time.
Well,
allegedly.
not a good
Don't
time.
quote me with
found
that.
you in this awful moment.
Or I was also, I mean, you know, sometimes history is bad, but you're, you know.
Yeah, but you got a hot lady by your side. Can I give you an alternate theory?
Oh, please, because I believe yours is some sort of time crime scenario.
Yeah, something like that. So I think it's some sort of experiment where these two, because the world's become so horrid, have created a reverse time machine, Tim, that allows them to stay in their home in normal time and watch the world speed past them.
Interesting. Reverse time machine. I like that.
Yeah, I don't even know if it makes sense, but basically you're moving time around you rather than moving through time.
You're in some sort of isolated bubble. You're just hanging out.
Exactly. And so they're just living their normal life as time moves quickly around them until it gets to a point where things are safe again and it's no longer the worst of times. And if that never comes, at least they have each other.
I like it.
Our memories of yesterday will last a lifetime. We'll take the best, forget the rest, and someday we'll find these are the best of times, these are the best of times. You know, they're going to live many lifetimes. Sounds pretty cut and dry to me.
Fair
Newspapers confirm of a coming apocalypse. The headlines read, "These are the worst of times. I do believe it's true. I feel so helpless like a boat against the tide. I wish the summer winds would bring back paradise. But I know if the world turns upside down, baby, I know you'd always be around." I think you can't change the world, so they're going to protect themselves from society by going to some sort of weird time bubble.
Yeah, I think that's probably what this song's about.
Great. Track number 3, Lorelei.
I'm not sure if this is in any way related to the song, but there is a German myth, Garrett, where Lorelei is a siren that lures sailors to their deaths on the Rhine River. It's also a rock formation that makes a weird sound in the winds, and ships have historically smashed themselves upon it.
Because they thought there was a lady calling them?
I don't know. I think it was just coincidence. I've also been watching The Last Dance on Netflix, Garrett, and musically, the intro to this song sounds like the intro song before the Bulls came out. It's the Alan Parsons instrumental Sirius. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
Oh, all right. Watch The Last Dance and listen to the Bulls, or Google Bulls
I did watch
music.
it, Tim. I watched it when the rest of society did 4.5 years ago.
Watch
Not
The
doing it
Last
again.
Dance. It's good.
I'll just Google the song.
Okay, yeah. Bulls intro music. There you go.
God damn you. When I think of Lorelei, my head turns all around. As gentle as a butterfly, she moves without a sound. I just want to stop right here. I've never described any woman that I find attractive as gentle. Like, that's a weird thing to attribute to anybody.
It is. It's not necessarily a necessary quality. I will say this, though. Sneakiness is something I look for in a partner. I want somebody that can just pop up no matter, wherever. Really
pop up wherever. What does that mean?
Yeah, somebody that just like moves through the forest. You don't know if she's coming or going.
The forest?
Yeah, well, I assume. Her name's Lorelei, Garrett. You just got back from getting Wicker Man in Wales. I'm assuming you met some Lorelei's, and I'm assuming they were forest women.
They were. The forest women are the most guileless.
Sure, but you got to be able to move without it. There's a lot of creatures in the forest that you're going to want to sneak up on.
Or avoid entirely. You don't want to be chased down by a javelina.
Sure. It happens to the best of us. It also happens to the worst of us.
Yeah, no, if you're a terrible person, you got an 86% chance of being gored by a boar.
Yes.
I call her on the telephone. She says be there by 8. Tonight's the night she's moving in, and I can't hardly wait. Be home at 8. It's his house. She's moving into his house. He'll be there.
Yeah.
Where's he coming home from?
It's weird because it's one of those I want to hold your hands or wouldn't it be nice types of songs where they're singing about banging, but like they can't say that.
Right.
But it's not 1963. Ted Nugent's singing Wang Dang Sweet Poontang at this point. And I'm not suggesting you be more like Theodore, but like be a little hornier.
Yeah, this is just boring. Lorelei, let's live together, brighter than the stars forever. Lorelei, let's live together, brighter than the stars forever. Oh, baby, forever. You're losing me here, guys. We're 3 songs into 16, and the first 2, I was on board. 3, it's wavering.
Yeah, already. Not good. Not good.
Her eyes become a paradise. She softly speaks my name. I just want to say, he spent a bunch of time talking about how gentle she is, and now he's talking about how quiet she is. What is this woman?
I mean, it's possible that she's some sort of specter.
Yeah, is it? It's just, they're very weird words to describe a person that you want to bang.
Yeah, well, I don't think he
wants
wants
to. Roommate, she's a ghoul. I'm not haunting him or anything. I totally moved in. I have a lease and a key.
But I am very quiet. I will sneak right on up.
And I am an apparition. I mean, I can physically possess you if you'd like.
I don't think I would. This is just, it's such a weirdly sexless song. And also all of the descriptions of this woman. If you really love somebody, that's amazing. Great for you. I'm very happy for you. I don't want to hear what you like about them. It's like describing a dream.
I was going to say, that's number 2 to describing your dreams.
It's uninteresting. Like, I am genuinely happy for you. I want everyone to find their love. I love love. Don't want to hear about it.
You know what? I will say Tim does love love, almost an infuriating amount. And maybe we're the weirdos here, but I can say I don't know how long I've known you now, like what, 20 years?
Oh, it's coming up on 21, friend.
That is not distinctly different.
Our friendship could drink.
You always know exactly what not to say. God damn it. Anyway, in the 20 plus years I've known you, never once did we sit down and be like, hey, here's like weird stuff that we shouldn't talk to each other about. We just knew, like, if you had started to be like, man, I'm really having some trouble with this lady, I'd be like, whoa, what? Or worse, if you were to turn to me and be like, God, you know what? I just love her. I'm not even kidding. I love her to death. And you're just like, what? And this is something that's always confused me. It's one of those things that appeared on television, but I have not found to be true in my real life. Television, bros are just talking about their relationships and what they're going to do with their girlfriend, with their best buds. And I have never in my entire existence as a human man been compelled or wanted to hear the comings and goings of my friends' relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for you. And,
absolutely not. I feel like if somebody is super interested in the comings and goings of your relationship, they're trying to find cracks in it. They want to have sex with your lady.
Trying to slide in there and fuck your lady.
Or man.
But it's probably a lady.
Track number 4, Too Much Time on My Hands.
Tim, did you know this song?
Well, I don't know. Is this... Okay, is this used in Fletch?
Oh.
Or Beverly Hills Cop or Ghostbusters? The bass line and drums on this song, they sound like the prototypical, like, interstitial music for, like, Fletch. Like, it only makes sense with, there's a cop or somebody, no one takes him seriously. He goes out to solve the crime his captain specifically told him to stay away from. He's a
Tim,
rogue.
he plays by his own rules.
He's a rogue. He's a rogue, but he's a lovable rogue, Garrett. And
charming as all get out.
Yeah, and as he goes out to do it, we got some little helicopter shots of downtown LA or the Big Apple.
I get what you're driving at with the 80s synth and the driving drums. It is very reminiscent of a cop that plays by his own rules, only to get the bad guy and the girl by the end. Let's get into it, though, because it's tough to pull apart. He sings, yeah, I'm sitting on this bar stool, talking like a damn fool, got the 12 o'clock news blues, and I'm giving up hope for the afternoon soaps and a bottle of cold brews.
The phrasing all makes it sound like a 1940s hard-boiled detective novel. It doesn't like... These phrases are used as if they're common parlance, and they don't make any goddamn sense. You know,
That's
I got
true.
these 12 o'clock news blues. Like, you know, that saying we all say when we... What? It's happening.
When we get drunk in the morning and then have to watch the news and we're sad because we see other people that have lives.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a saying. Familiar. No. We're very busy. Let's see. It's a wonder I'm not crazy, and it's a wonder I'm sane at all. I feel like he is laying groundwork. Like he's talking real loud in this bar every day, getting drunk, establishing an alibi, making sure everyone knows that if I did something a little kooky down the road that gets me indicted, you all could probably testify that I might not be so sane.
Yes.
Well, I'm so tired of losing, I got nothing to do, and all day to do it. Well, I'd go out cruising, but I've no place to go, and all night to get there. So this dude's just boozing all day, he has no job, he has no friends, he has no future, and he knows it.
Right, because he's no longer on the force.
Ooh, okay. Although that also could be a good montage for like Short Circuit 2 if you're like rebuilding Johnny Five. He's alive,
absolutely.
You know?
I mean, I don't know anything you're saying, but a good montage song I agree with.
What about, you ever see Weird Science?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like when they're making the girl, that could have been a good...
Right,
this is a good montage song.
Okay, I got that. This song gets the Why I Hate This Album stamp of approval. This is a good song to build a girl to.
There we go. A robot girl. Or whatever
really
she was
any
in that
girl.
movie.
A Frankenstein, if you want.
Sure, if you've got the means and the opportunity, build a Frankenstein or two. I guess we've really learned time and time again not to, though, right?
Yeah. It almost always ends in tragedy.
All right, song continues. Is it any wonder I'm not a criminal? Is it any wonder I'm not in jail? Is it any wonder I've got too much time on my hands? It's ticking away with my sanity. I've got too much time on my hands. It's hard to believe such a calamity. I've got too much time on my hands, and it's ticking away from me. I think it's a cry for help to him. He is gonna rob that bank.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get bored, you know?
Right.
It's just
and
sitting there.
Want to make a splash.
When Garrett and I were, well, probably back in 2008, we once robbed a taco cabana at gunpoint in the Fort Worth area for no reason. We were just bored.
Yeah, and to be clear, we didn't even have guns.
I did.
I love learning new details about you.
My point is, sometimes
Yeah.
there's nothing else to do, and you don't even need the money. You just give it to a guy.
Just looking for a little serotonin boost.
Yeah. And goddamn it, is it a good one? Holy
yeah,
shit.
no, you'll be peaking for days.
Yeah.
You can keep your goddamn halos or whatever the fuck you kids are into now. Robbery. That's what we're saying. It's fun. Now I'm a jet fuel genius. I can solve...
That common phrase we all say.
Wowee! He's a real jet fuel genius. Get out of here. Just beat that kid to death, because guess what? He's a clone or a time traveler or something evil. Now I'm a jet fuel genius. I can solve the world's problems without even trying. I got dozens of friends and the fun never ends. That is, as long as I'm buying. Is it any wonder I'm not the president? Is it any wonder I'm null and void? And then he continues the chorus again.
Yeah, it ends with him weirdly intensely whisper singing, too much time on my hands, too much time on my hands, too much time on my fucked me.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
There's an apologetics parody called Too Much Grime on My Hands that we are not going to put in because this episode's going to run long.
Track number 5, The Interminable Babe.
We usually will say, listen, we don't like this song, but there's nothing wrong with liking it. Like what you like. Everyone should like what they like. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't like it. Not this time. If you like this song, you're an idiot.
Yeah. If this is your favorite Styx song, I want to hear about it because it sucks.
This is their only number one single because most people, and this is true, are idiots.
This was their
only
I don't know what kind of
number
chicanery
one.
There was. Like, that almost has to be some sort of payola scheme. What's going on here?
But
It's
why would you
really
do this
bad.
one? This makes it obvious. Because listen, Garrett, this sounds like church music, but we usually say it's that shitty, modern, like Protestant contemporary service music. This sounds like the church service that's specifically geared toward the elderly, right? This is church music for Baptists 65 and over.
Yeah. It's church music that's been sanitized.
Yeah. Also, this might be about Jesus. Babe might be Jesus.
Interesting. Let's get into it quickly. Babe, I'm leaving. I must be on my way. The time is drawing near. My train is going. I see it in your eyes. The love, the need, your tears. He's leaving. He's being very vague about where he's going or why, but he just suddenly burst into the house and said, I have to go. But I'll be lonely without you, and I'll need your love to see me through. So please believe me. My heart is in your hands, and I'll be missing you. At first I thought he was simply saying, hey, don't bang anybody while I'm gone, which is fair. Don't, I guess, although there's that zip code rule. Anyway, but when he says, believe me, hairs on the back of my neck, Tim, that is a red flag. Nobody in natural course of conversation that isn't actively lying says the words believe me.
Yes, but I'm disappointed to know that you know that.
Everybody knows that. The moment someone says believe me or don't you believe me, that's the doubling down because it's an accusation of your own lie. It's beautiful. God, people are awful. And we've all done it. But yeah, he's leaving. You have to stay here. I'm not saying where I'm going. I need you to not fuck anybody while I'm gone. And also believe me that this isn't weird at all.
I feel like this is the kind of thing you've been dropping hints that you're doing something important. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm off. I don't even know, Garrett. I'm going to go
I gotta go to another mission, babe. Believe me, I can't tell you where I'm going. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Your Camaro is going to be at the motel again.
That's where I park it, babe. I'm undercover. I put it there to throw them off, and then I do my missions in Somalia. I've said too much. Brian, I know you're just going to go bowling all weekend with your friends. Just say you want to have a boys' weekend. Don't call it a boys' weekend, Sharon! It's Sharon.
It sure is.
Song continues. 'Cause you know it's you, babe. Whenever I get weary and I've had enough, feel like giving up. You know it's you, babe. Giving me the courage and the strength I need. Believe me that it's true, babe. I love you.
I love you.
Yours was better.
Babe, I love you.
Babe,
it's
I love
terrible.
you.
If you like this song, I want to stress that again. You're an idiot.
If you love this song, you're over the age of 85 and currently on some sort of awful cruise ship. That's what's happening. Who could possibly enjoy this?
But if you're not, that's who you are inside.
that's your spirit animal. An octogenarian cruise enthusiast.
With bad music taste. Track number 6, Fooling Yourself, The Angry Young Man. I was sad that it wasn't The Angry American.
Oh yeah, that would have been better. This song I thought opened really strong, and then it just slows down a bit, and it never really gets me back, despite the addition of the vocoder.
Yeah, it's fun. It's upbeat. Yeah, again, as you said, it's lousy with synthy keyboard solos toward the end, and it's got a shit ton of vocoder in it. This was apparently about how baby boomers are too cynical. I think maybe. I feel like, though, this song is what would happen if, like, rock lyrics were written by a group of concerned mothers.
It's kind of a speech.
Yeah, exactly. You see the world through your cynical eyes. You're a troubled young man, I can tell. But you got it all in the palm of your hand, but your hand's wet with sweat and your head needs a rest. Okay.
From all the masturbating. I know what you're doing. You're not showering for 25 minutes. I've known you for your whole life. Suddenly you're 13 years old. You go from showering for 4 minutes to 25. I know what you're doing. It's your masturbating. Dry your hands.
Your mom's great. I love Bethesda. And you're fooling yourself if you don't believe it. You're kidding yourself if you don't believe it. Why must you be such an angry young man when your future looks quite bright to me? And how can there be such a sinister plan that could hide such a lamb, such a caring young man? This kind of, okay, it also feels like this, like, why protest? Why are you going out there and trying to make a difference and stir shit up? You're smart. You could get a nice job on Wall Street, right? Like, you're not making middle-class salary at protests. You could earn way more if you gave up environmental law for corporate law.
Oh, wow, that's extra waspy. It's, 1977? You could get a job down at the IBM. Mrs. Stolhauser, her son Tommy, he just got a job there. I'm sure he'd prefer you.
Yeah. Again, though, it's weird to be a song from the point of view of those pleated dockers just sitting there calling to you.
God, you're really right. This is all very vanilla. You know, obviously, orally, it was quite flaccid. So, that I agreed with you off the bat, but every song is such a wet blanket.
It's almost as if this was some sort of CIA response to the music of the 60s and 70s. Of just like, we need to cool the fuck down.
God damn it, these fucking kids, we're going to cool it down. We're going to cool it down. Well, sir, have you heard Toto? Africa's pretty chill. No, I want it to be actively erection reducing. It's going to make people unhard. They wouldn't let me put saltpeter in the food supply, so we're gonna make a Styx. Babe, I love you.
God.
They're so talented.
Yeah, they're so talented and somehow so bad.
Let's keep going. Track number 7, Show Me the Way.
Show me the way.
This is just Christian music.
Yeah, I remember when this came out. Here's the thing though, Tim, they have had hits now consistently from like 1978 to 1990. That's wild.
Yeah, no, it's a great run, but here's the thing. Most of those hits, the songs on this album, the greatest of their hits, mostly bad.
Yeah, they're not great.
Every night I say a prayer in hopes that there's a heaven, and every day I'm more confused as the saints turn into sinners. All the heroes and legends I knew as a child have fallen to idols of clay, and I feel this empty place inside, so afraid that I've lost my faith. Go to confessional. That's what you need to do.
I didn't know they were aggressively Catholic.
Yes.
It makes my notes wildly inaccurate now. I thought a guy was handing out justice Dexter style. And was praying every night that God wouldn't deliver another name. I guess that's more frailty style. Boy, I've really been on a Paxton run lately. So he's just praying to God every night and going, Lord, I don't want to have to do it. Oh, God, I've done your bidding and I'll keep doing it, Lord, as long as you give me one of those names, but please don't. Please don't. I hate the fear in their eyes. The horrible demon eyes. My neighbor, I gotta kill my neighbor. He's a demon. Okay. So every night he sits down, he prays, he asks Jesus not to give him another name to kill in order to cleanse them of their demon soul. And of course he does. The next verse, the pre-chorus, if you will, sort of backs this up. They continue, all the heroes and legends I knew as a child have fallen to idols of clay. And I feel this empty place inside, so afraid that I've lost my faith. So he's trying to earn back Jesus's love by cleansing the world of sinners, and all of his previous heroes he's had to hack down as idols of clay and cleanse them of their demon souls.
Love it, but this is about their Catholic faith.
Yeah, I mean, this is all in there. I was a Catholic for a long time, till I was like 7th, 6th grade. I switched it over.
To Methodism?
Satanism.
Fair enough. Speaking of the great Satan, Garrett, track number 8, Renegade. We start here a cappella. Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. It's
a great song.
Pretty great. This one, I'm on board with.
Yeah, it's a very Queen-esque song.
Yeah. Lawman has put an end to my running, and I'm so far from my home. Oh, mama, I can hear you a-crying. You're so scared and all alone. Hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long. It's okay. So there's nothing really actually happens in this song because...
mostly he's just kind of a bitch.
Yeah, he's being hunted, then he's caught, then he's scared of the gallows. But there's some actual rock music that kicks in, and that hasn't happened for a while, and it is a relief.
It's funky, too. It's very 70s. It's great.
Yeah. What do you think he did to have this capture or kill order put out on him?
Oh, interesting. Well, we haven't really done Wanted Dead or Alive since the early 1900s, I think. So let's say...
I feel like we did it in 2011.
Oh, no, domestically.
Oh, I feel like we did it in 2012.
Who? Oh, the...
No, 2013. Who? They were definitely...
Boston Bombers?
Oh, yeah, them. That's not who I was talking about, but yeah, them.
Oh, who are you talking about?
Snowden. They were going to kill Snowden. He got away.
That's true. They probably were. Interesting. Anyway, we're a bit off topic. Yeah, when the chorus hits, it's an excellent needle drop. I'm sure it's been used 100 times. They sing, "The jig is up." You asked me, what did he do? I think he was responsible for a series of accidental deaths related to blowing up bank safes using nitroglycerin.
How elaborate.
Well, you asked me what I thought. That's what I was picturing. Were you not? What do you think?
No,
he did?
that's about right.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a turn of the century. He's still a bit of a country bumpkin, but the town is built up around him, and so he's adapted. He can barely read or write, but he knows his glycerin, Tim.
So he's sort of a Logan Lucky Logan something?
Yes. That's what I'm stealing from. No, it's very different. Is it though? Anyway, let's keep going. The jig is up. The news is out. They finally found me. The renegade who had it made retrieved for a bounty. Never more to go astray. That'll be the end of day of the wanted man. Remains super unclear to me how bounty hunters work, Tim. Do you know? They can't arrest you, but they can detain you. They can definitely move you around, but it feels like kidnapping.
Well, it is. Technically, if a bounty hunter is after you, you are fully within your rights to kill that person because that person is trying to kidnap you. Like, let's say you set a bounty on, because you can just hire a bounty hunter, right? Like, I can hire a bounty hunter to get, I don't know, we'll say Evan, right? Our intern Evan, right? So,
start running, Evan. Are we hunting Evan? Is that what this is?
We will, don't worry. But my point is that if he hasn't done anything illegal, like that's just a man who's trying to kidnap him and possibly kill him.
Well, I'm definitely curious. Listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. Is that true? Can I hire a bounty hunter to just come get you?
Yes.
Can I hire a reputable bounty hunter to just go kidnap somebody? Because that's what you're describing.
If you have enough money, the reputable ones will, yeah.
Fascinating. Listeners, please confirm that. If anybody, one of you has to be a bounty hunter. There's thousands of you. One of you must be, or has been, bounty hunted. Ooh, please write in if you've been bounty hunted. That's fascinating. Big guitar solo. Mostly the rest of the song is him whining to his mother and hoping that she frees him somehow. Maybe some sort of Forrest Gump situation.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah. Your mama must really love your education. Gross. You're gross.
I will say, I do actually love that scene where he just looks at him and starts making what he believes to be sex noises. That kid's a genius. Yeah. This also had an apologetics parody called Lemonade that I did not listen to.
Lemonade?
Apparently that's Jesus related.
We'll never know why. Track number 9, Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
This is the one pretty much everyone is familiar with. At least 15% of my knowledge from this is from Cartman not being able to hear this song without finishing it in full from maybe the first season of South Park. And, okay, so for me, this song, I'm going to carry on the slight cult theme from earlier.
Okay.
I think that this song is describing sort of a Heaven's Gate boarding the spaceship that was in the shadow of the Hale-Bopp comet.
Hale-Bopp, definitely, but...
Hale-Bopp.
It's Hale-Bopp. Marshall Applewhite, I'm with you.
Yeah, Bonnie Nettles, we're all there. You know, going to the Great Sky Comet.
They lost me when they started cutting off balls.
Well, sure, but they weren't allowed to have sex, and it's very difficult to not have sex if you're in a cult.
Oh, is that why they wanted to take my balls? Anyway, I liked the jumpsuits, loved the Nikes, but I had to split.
Yeah, loved Marsh.
Oh, Marsh was the best. Like, I mean, a lot of the shit he said, I wasn't sure was really going to happen, but love listening to the guy.
Yeah, but then it did happen, Garrett.
Ooh, no, they all just died.
Their souls went to the spaceship that trailed...
Now, Tim, I read the autopsy report. They did not. They were still there.
The autopsy report mentioned the location of their souls?
Yeah.
They were trapped in those bodies?
They were very Catholic.
Oh.
No. The supplemental does. It's not on the top form.
Fair enough.
My notes say no notes, ?
I mean, this song is great, right?
It's awesome.
I'm sailing away, set an open course for the Virgin Sea, 'cause I've got to be free to face the life that's ahead of me. On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard.
On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard.
It's
we'll
great.
Search for tomorrow on every shore. It's great.
Oh,
it's great.
Sorry, I thought we were going to continue on, but that's okay.
And I'll try.
No.
Lord, I'll try.
See, you almost got me again, because I was going to jump in for the to carry on. You're going to make me look like, okay, God damn it. Son of a bitch.
This is a fun new thing. I enjoy it. So yeah, this is a man, I believe, who's running away from his life.
I mean, sure, but to a cult and he will go into space, right? A gathering of angels appeared above my head. They sang to me this song of hope, and this is what they said. They said, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. And then he says, I thought that they were angels, but to my surprise, we climbed aboard their starship. We headed for the skies. This is about the Halebop comet.
Interesting. Still Hail Bob. I thought it was about aliens catfishing humans for their own nefarious deeds.
For sex.
Probably probing. I've heard they enjoy it. So we're pretty close here. I thought it was a bunch of aliens catfishing religious fanatics. They're like, oh yes, fellow human, I'm an angel. Come join me and you will ascend to your glorious forever. And instead, they're going to get him up there and just fuck the shit out of them with their weird alien genitals.
Or with a contraption, mechanical genitals, if you will.
God, to what end? Just
Mechanicals.
Mechanicals?
Yeah.
Gencanicals.
Ooh, there it is. It is. There's also an apologetics parody, Come Whale Away, Garrett, about Jonah and living in that whale for 3 days, which definitely happened.
That's way better than what I thought it was. I thought it was about them beating Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it could be a...
It's from the perspective of that Roman dude.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan.
Oh, it was Pontius Pilate.
Oh, different guy. I thought you meant the guy that was actually beating him, whose name was Jonathan.
Oh, that's a weird detail. Did he have a last name?
I don't know.
It's probably like Jonathan of Izakiah, son of Bartholomew. The whole book is gibberish. Track number 10, Blue Collar Man, parentheses, Long Nights.
The organ of this song feels very ripped off from Chest Fever by the band.
Yes, that's what that was.
Yeah, but I mean, to be clear, I enjoy it.
Sure, I've never heard this song before.
I don't think I have either.
And I gotta say, of all the topics in the world, it's really weird. It's basically just a guy at the unemployment office.
Yeah, but it's a weird perspective on it, right? It feels like it's about having solidarity with the working man, but
it
the song
could be read as like settling for.
Not settling, aspiring to. Like, there's some sort of... So there's white collar, there's blue collar, and then there's some sort of third thing that's under that. Some sort of... I imagine it's
undershirt?
I was going to say...
Because it's no collar.
Well, sure. I was going to say it's whatever those people were wearing that lived in the sewer with Dennis Leary in that fantastic...
Well, they had like weird leather business or something. They looked like Raider fans.
Yeah. I mean, they look like Gwar people. We've been over this.
Yes, that's right. Gwar people. But Raider fanatics.
The song, it's structured to like pump you up. Like it's supposed to be played during a Rocky montage, but it's about hoping that one day you get to be a locksmith. Like every time this song played, I pictured a music video where a guy was waiting in line. You know, he's got a ring in his back pocket where his can of Copenhagen sits. He's got a hard hat. He's got work boots. The entire music video, he's just standing there as this like up-tempo song blares. And, you know, at the very end, as it's fading to black, he takes like a step forward or something. Like, it could be played during a trade school infomercial, maybe. I don't know.
It's funny. I pictured something very, very different. So, if I may, sit back, Tim, and picture this. It's 1978. You're living in a paper world. You hear the click-clack of a room full of typewriters as multiple unemployment agents. What are they called? Unemployment... Good question.
Employees. I don't know, Garrett. I've never been unemployed.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, I'm consistently unemployed, but not looking.
Right. There's a difference. Anyway, 1978, smoke-filled room, of course. Bunch of people sitting at desks, their typewriters going as the employees of the unemployment office talk to people that are out of work and they're struggling. And we have our main protagonist, who I'm picturing to be a man in a see-through yellow short-sleeve button-down with a striped brown tie that is probably a clip-on or ill-tied at best. He may be balding, Tim, with a hilarious comb-over and a mustache and a consistent flop sweat, a stickiness, a slime, a grime to him, even.
Sure, I'm picturing like a slightly lower rent Bob Odenkirk from when he's working at the mall.
Okay, yes. And he's so desperate. So let's get into it. He says, give me a job, give me security, give me a chance to survive. I'm just a poor soul in the unemployment line. My God, I'm hardly alive. My mother and father, my wife and my friends, I see them laugh in my face. What?
Yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So his mother, his father, his wife, and his friends, they're laughing at him. They're happy
horrible.
He can't get a job.
You're such a fucking loser, Carl. God
Right.
damn it.
My mom has never once laughed in my face at my lifestyle choices. She seems distraught, but
Yeah.
she's not laughing. It's
No.
weird.
That's get a new wife and friends would be what I suggest. But Tim, he's using it as fuel. He says, but I've got the power and I've got the will. I'm not a charity case. I'll take those long nights, impossible odds, keeping my eye to the keyhole. If that's not an expression.
No.
If it takes all that just to be what I am, I'm going to be a blue collar man.
It sounds like he's trying to work his way up to blue collar. Like it's
Yes,
phrased
he aspires
as
to blue collar. So
Yeah.
what is he?
I don't know.
Unemployed. Maybe it's just unemployed. You go unemployed to blue collar. I guess that makes sense.
Maybe. The other thing is maybe it's somebody, maybe this is like a trade school commercial, right? And so they're targeting the guy that you're thinking, right? They're targeting a guy who's an accountant and hates it. And they're just like, wouldn't you like to go out in the, work the lines, maybe be an electrician, maybe you do some roofing. It's fun. It's better than what you're doing. You get a little exercise, some fresh air. You get to eat your lunch out of one of those cool little like tin things,
Yeah.
There's some good stuff. So maybe they're trying to encourage white collar workers to become blue collar workers with this.
Interesting. Yeah. It's entirely possible. Also, but what kind of job has you keeping your eye to the keyhole?
Oh, I have no idea. That's not a thing anyone's ever said.
Some sort of professional cuck? What do I do again, ma'am? You look through the hole, okay, and you watch us. Okay, I just look through the hole. I will look through this hole all night if I have to. You look in the goddamn hole. I don't know what I'm doing right. Oh my God, they're fucking. From 1989 to 2003, I was a professional cuck. You should remove that from your resume.
Disagree.
Tell them you were raising children. Make me an offer that I can't refuse. Make me respectable, man. This is the last time in the unemployment line, so like it or not, I'll take those long nights, impossible odds, keeping my back to the wall. If it takes all that just to be what I am, I'm gonna be a blue-collar man. Yeah, I'm gonna be a blue-collar man. And the second one was me. Is he a failed business owner, maybe, Tim? Maybe set out for the American dream and rather than... Maybe that's it. He was like, I'll own my own business. That's the only other option. White-collar, blue-collar, own your own business. Which is still kind of white-collar, I guess.
Yeah.
But what if that business is plumbing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like a good plumber, like a good electrician, you could make $150,000 a year doing that.
Oh, easily. A good plumber or electrician, especially right now, they're fucking impossible to book. They'll literally just tell you to go fuck yourself. You're just like, oh, okay. You're like, I got more work than I can fucking handle. Tim, I'm curious, have you ever had a night shift job?
Well, yes, I have for 2 weeks.
2 weeks ever?
Yes, it was a job that included some night work sometimes, and I worked for 2 weeks straight doing night work, and then I did not do that. I kept the job, of course, but I did not I was not on the night work shift anymore.
Fascinating, because my night work experience was 4 weeks only, and during those 4 weeks, I worked in a laboratory in Connecticut where we did things, but I could only do them from 8 p.m. until 7 a.m.
Right, when the scientists are asleep.
Well, technically. Anyway, I'm
get
going to
it.
probably bleep some of those words because that's a 100% true story. Anyway, keeping my mind on a better life, where happiness is only a heartbeat away. Paradise. Can it be all I heard it was? I close my eyes and maybe I'm already there. Somebody has wildly lied to him about what blue-collar work is.
Yes.
Like, I respect the shit out of it. It's hard work, but it's not paradise.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he's dreaming of retirement.
Oh,
But
okay.
no,
that
I
makes
don't
sense.
know.
Yeah, who cares? We've gotten lost in here. We should mention, though, that there is a bridge comprised entirely of dues.
Yeah, absolutely, there is.
There's 7 times 4, 28 dues at least. And that brings us to track number 11. God, we spent too much time on that. The Grand Illusion.
Life is complete confusion. 'Cause you're never
This is their, like, Sgt. Pepper's, kinda.
Yeah, that's fair.
And musically, it's kind of fun. It kind of reminded me also of our My Chemical Romance debacle.
Yes, which we need to revisit. Not
We
that
should.
album, but a different one.
Or maybe that album. It shouldn't
Maybe
be
that album.
included in a greatest hits collection, though, because it really makes no sense here.
Yeah, it really feels like The Who mixed with Journey, but, Styxified. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
You
and
know who I kept being reminded of when I was listening to this album is there's sort of like a lamer Rush.
yes, they're like Rush on Quaaludes.
Yeah, or like, what's the one, the mood stabilizer they used to give a lot in the 80s?
I was always-
Halcyon.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let's see. Song begins, welcome to the Grand Illusion. Come on in and see what's happening. Pay the price, get your ticket for the show. The stage is set, the band starts playing. Suddenly, your heart is pounding, wishing secretly you were the star.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely. Yeah, it's clearly like an intro to a whole concept album.
That we're not privy to.
Right.
Yeah, to me it sounded like Styx was saying, hey, come see us, and then you'll wish you were us a little bit.
Interesting.
I mean, mostly this song is about, like, how marketing and materialism isn't all it's cracked up to be, and you could be rich and famous and still be just as miserable as us plebes.
Yeah, or possibly about how we're all living in a simulation.
Interesting. Song continues. Please don't be fooled by the radio, the TV, or the magazines. They show you photographs of how your life should be, but they're just someone else's fantasy. I see. Yes, the machines.
Yeah, there you go.
Although it couldn't, I'll bet you if we are living in a simulation, and I am not convinced of that at all, it operates on machines, but I suspect it's something humankind has decided to do.
Oh, sure. It's much better. We're likely all in some sort of retirement community or nursing home.
Oh, I always assumed we were either en route to a new planet, or we've all been just placed in cryo chambers underground because we've ruined our Earth.
Oh, possibly. I just assume that you and me are very old.
What if we're batteries?
Oh, that's
For
just the
other
Matrix
richer
again.
people.
Oh, now that's interesting. Twist.
Yeah, what if they've kind of perfected, they've gotten rid of most diseases, Tim, so at some point people are just going to stop dying, and so the only reason for procreation, it's all done in laboratories, is to fuel their rich cities so they can live infinite lives. Tim, we're batteries. Styx knew it all along.
Quite possibly, Garrett. We got to move this along. Track number 12, Crystal Ball.
so many things I need to know.
Proposal. We skip Crystal Ball.
Yes, I want to say one thing.
Okay.
It is acoustic guitars and mellow vocals, which is why we're skipping the shit out of it.
Track number 13, Sweet Madam Blue.
Sweet Madam Blue. Gaze and you're looking like
This is apparently about the U.S. And
Yeah, getting drafted.
Is it? He said, or Dennis DeYoung said, this was an honest assessment of everything America stands for, good and bad, and how there is so much left for America to do before it can truly change for the better.
Yeah, he doesn't really express any of that. It's clearly about America, and I didn't know that when I started listening to it. And when it gets to the part that it's clearly about America, I burst out laughing on the airplane. I was
It
just
is
like,
weird.
wow, what?
Yeah, if you picture two verses and then the chorus being about a lady, which I assume is what you did.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so time after time I sit and wait for your call. I know I'm a fool, but what can I say? Whatever the price, I'll pay for you, Madam Blue.
I thought she was a very skilled prostitute.
Fair enough. A word from your lips and the world turned around, but somehow you've changed, you're so far away. I long for the past and dream of the days with you, Madam Blue.
Or maybe she's a starlet. They came up together and drifted apart, maybe even married at one time. Of course, that was a long time ago, but he'll wait for her forever. He never fell out of love. Makes sense.
So dressed in your jewels, you made your own rules, you conquered the world and more, heaven's door.
A beautiful, powerful woman. I am into this and want to point out she's not giant, you creeps.
America, 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 red, white, and blue.
Damn it. Yeah, that literally happens.
I can see why that was so jarring for you, yes.
It was very funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, wait, what? So lift up your heart and make a new start and lead us away from here. Let me just say, the early 80s, we really turned a page, so he must have been pleased. And if he thought that the late 70s were bad, he must love 2024. Everything's not better. Track number 14, in case you haven't scratched that jingoistic itch, Miss America. Opening sounds like a haunted house. I'm not into it.
I said the intro keyboard suggests this is going to be a Halloween song.
The vocals are a little different on this one, a little deeper. I almost got Alice Cooper vibes with this whole song, but I could have been influenced by the haunted house.
Yeah.
Let's get into it quickly. You were the apple of the public's eye, and you cut the ribbon at the local mall. A mirage for both you and us. How can this be real? Sort of goading Miss America for being a hollow symbol of a country that no longer exists.
Yeah, but I feel like he's putting too much
Emphasis.
Yeah, it seems like they're angry at the specific winner of a Miss America pageant.
Oh, might be an ex-girlfriend.
Well, no, I mean, I think that he's misunderstood the concept of Miss America. Like, he thinks that she's some sort of elected official, and she's out here, like, parading about, but she should be balancing a budget or doing something about inflation or standing up to Brezhnev. You know.
And that's true. He does put a weird amount of like power into the hands of Miss America.
Right. Yeah. Stop doing photo ops at malls and get to work. Ugh.
Let's see. We love your body in that photograph. Your home state sure must be proud. The Queen of the United States. Have you lost your crown? He seems confused about the powers that come with it. She is not the queen. We don't have one. And that was probably not how we would elect one, although maybe...
It might be.
She was pretty and I liked her in the swimsuit. Also, her talents included making eggs and ventriloquism. You can be my queen.
I like your guy. Well, are you really who we think we are, or does your smile seem to wear you down? Is the girl who you once were screaming to jump out? In the dream that you must live, a disease for which there is no cure, this roller coaster ride you're on won't stop to let you off. It's awfully
Aren't you
harsh.
tired of your facade? Aren't you dead inside like we all think you are? Show us your sadness. Who touched you? You're broken, aren't you?
Okay.
That's what they're saying, Tim. Their words, not mine. And the judges, did they ever ask to read between your lines? Ew. I think lines are legs.
Oh.
It took me a minute to figure that out.
Took me 2 weeks to figure that out, and also, you just told me.
In your cage at the human zoo, they all stop to look at you. Next year, what will they do when you have been forgotten? Aren't you, Miss America? Don't you, Miss America? Won't you, Miss America, our love? And then there's 12 more Miss Americas.
Yeah.
Track number 15, the one, the only, the best. Mr. Roboto, a.k.a. Kilroy, was here.
What a goddamn weird song.
And aside from the length, it's perfect.
Yeah. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. The translation for this intro is, thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. Until the day we meet again, thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. I want to know your secret. Guess.
Fantastic. I think this guy got helped by a man that he thinks is a robot, but is really just a man.
Oh, do you know what this is about, Garrett? This is the story of Robert Orrin Charles Kilroy. Now, those initials, in case you're wondering, do spell rock, who escapes from a prison where he is being held for simply rocking too hard by overpowering a Roboto prison guard and using the empty shell as a disguise to escape, only emerging later to reveal his true self, Kilroy, within the machine to another rocker. The costume in the music video was designed by Stan Winston, a 4-time Oscar winner who did special effects makeup for Jurassic Park, Terminator, T2, Predator, Iron Man, The Thing, Aliens, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, and several others.
What a wild misallocation of funds.
Disagree.
Honestly, Tim, I don't know that there's much else to talk about. If you've never heard this song, you won't care. And if you have heard this song, Tim just said the most interesting thing about it, because there's no fucking way, well, maybe our listeners, they are both educated and psychotic, that Venn diagram. But most of you probably never looked up, what the fuck is this song about? So there you go. I don't think we should really talk about it any much beyond that. What about you?
I will say verse 2 sounds as if Vincent Price was trying to do a Japanese accent, but also like not trying to be offensive, so he's going like really light with it, and it's bizarre.
Yeah, I did wonder that. It sounds like they didn't commit fully, but it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically, the song is that, right? It's Kilroy, I've got a secret hiding under my skin, my heart is human, my blood is boiling, my brain, IBM. It's basically about a man who's hiding within a robot and pretending to be a robot until he can get out.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
I love that song. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a great song. Track number 16. Thank God. Don't Let It End. Disagree.
Don't let it end, baby, we could have so much more.
Weak ending here.
It's really bad. I almost rule of 11'd it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a song, I have no idea why this would be on anyone's greatest hits album. If this was my song, I would deny I wrote or performed it. It's just some guy, some sad sack begging a lady not to leave him.
Yeah, and listen, I get it if you're like married and you have kids and there's like stakes, but if you're just dating somebody and they break up with you, don't try to convince them otherwise. Yeah, you might get back together for a little bit, but you're never going to trust them again. And honestly, they just pity you at that point. It's disgusting.
Yeah, you disgust us, listeners.
Disgusting. Go to a mirror, keep the podcast going. Are you at the mirror? I'll wait. Now that you're at the mirror, look at that person. That person is disgusting. Pick your self-esteem up off the ground, which is probably soaked in flop sweat and sadness, and break up with that person. They don't like you. You must have something they want.
This is tough love.
It's why we're here. Anyway, the song is about this guy. He's begging this lady to stay. It doesn't really matter what most of the song is about. The thing that made me laugh, Tim, is he eventually starts just saying, don't let it end. I'm begging you. Don't let it end this way. Don't let it. Which way would you like it to end? It's almost like she left him for somebody he found truly despicable. And I was trying to think, who would I despise somebody leaving me for? And obviously, aside from you, that's a suicide.
Cuomo.
Ooh, that's a great one. I came up with Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, yeah, because even with the money, come on.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's rare you can not meet somebody and have everyone not meet that somebody, but universally agree nah, I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
We all have the same take. Doesn't matter how much you post funny memes, become a multi-bajillionaire. You're just not cool, man. Ugh. Yeah. Huge guitar solo, chorus a couple more times, and that's where we say, how did it do? So, Tim, how did it do?
This hit number 138 on the Billboard 200, which in 1995 meant that this ended up getting certified double platinum.
Holy
with
shitballs.
2 million U.S. sales as of August 23rd, 2005. Maybe more in the past 19 years.
2 million plus disappointed fans. What did people think of it?
Well, we sadly don't have a Robert Christgau review, although I will say he hated it. There are 3,356 total reviews on Amazon, one of the most ever, 4.8 out of 5 stars, 85% 5-star, 1% 1-star. OGS. It's called Forgotten How Many Great Hit Songs Styx Made. One of the greatest rock groups ever. Knew all the words to all the songs. I forgot how much I enjoyed their music. Well worth the price. Played the CD over the office intercom. I was surprised how many young assistant asked who the band was. 5 out of 5 stars. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that is...
Actually, I take that back. Let's say you're working a factory job, right? You're out there, you're putting together robot parts for robots that will take your job later this evening. And all of a sudden, lady comes blaring over the intercom, smashing some robots.
Yeah, but if Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto comes on, I might work a little bit faster, 0.28% faster.
Fair enough.
I might go home and kill myself, too.
Yep. Michael von Schneiderman II from
Made
2018. Okay, so I'm going to pause every time there's a new line. So that's why I'm reading this stiltedly. I love the music of 1955. 56, 57, 59, and 1958. I was very shocked Amazon couldn't find. A much-loved song of Lady K. Starr. It was one of her greatest hits. Night. I used to have the album, but you do not seem to have her singing this song. I have many of your CDs, and I'm very disappointed in this firm for not being able to locate this album. But in my case, it would have been sold to me on
This is
one of
maddening.
your compact discs. Mr. Michael James von Schneiderman II.
I don't know what just happened. I have
He's
a
a
nosebleed.
genius.
Yeah, that was so enraging. Was the whole thing a critique that he couldn't find different music?
I don't know. I
God.
don't know. One
Do you have
more
any
here.
more that aren't that?
This is by Page R. Great reasons to get the greatest hits. Growing up, I owned most of the Styx albums on 33 or cassette. Some I liked, some I didn't. But at this time, they are no longer part of my collection. So when I saw this album, I thought about getting it. Earlier this year, it was on special,
Ugh.
and I missed my chance. When it came up again, I did not let it slip through my fingers. As a side note, the first song on the album, Lady, was the song I proposed to my wife with. 5 out of 5 stars.
Theme music? Does he have like a little boombox? He's just like, all right,
I don't know.
Hold on, I gotta get it set up. Oh, it's the other side. Hold on, I gotta get Lady.
Lady!
Valerie, I know we've only known each other for 17 weeks, but I feel like it's been as many as 24 weeks. And baby, I love you, and I want to make you mine. Bring your sloppy tits over here. You always know what to say. Tim, we've been living here too long. These fucking jabronis are in my head. These are real people.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, who's this for?
This is for dads everywhere. If you are on a boat wearing a stupid hat, if you are mowing the lawn with a stupid tank top, if you are grilling with stupid jorts, you're probably listening to this album and you're probably loving it and you look great.
Or at the very least, you're listening to this album and you're going, what song is this? I mean, it's clearly Styx, but I don't know if I've ever heard this.
Yeah.
Like the rest of us. Anyway, let's see here. That brings us to final thoughts. Any big revelations here, Timmy?
No, I just want to reiterate it is shocking and offensive that these are the best songs this band has to offer. Here's the big question, Garrett. What could possibly be on that second greatest hits album? Like
That's a phenomenal question.
it's
One I never will answer.
God
I want
help
to be
us.
clear about that.
So at this point in their career, this is spanning 23 years of their career. They scraped together 16 songs from that time.
4 of them we know.
4 of them are not terrible. 2 of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
12 of them are terrible songs. Just garbage songs.
Musically, really well played and produced. Just not music I want to listen to.
But I can't imagine they saved another 4 songs that are respectable for that second album. Like, you're front-loading your greatest hits.
Oh, yeah. You said there's 16 other tracks?
There's a Greatest Hits Part 2 from 1996 that is also 16 songs long.
They have to be like studio outtakes.
I don't know.
There's no other songs, Tim.
I would argue there's not... Again, they could have had a Greatest Hits EP that I would have liked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, like, can you imagine? I mean, listeners, that's this episode, which we get it. It was a long slog. Imagine that, but you don't know any of the songs. We know you only knew a third of them. Imagine you don't know any, and we don't know any, and we're furious about it.
It might be a better episode, honestly.
Yeah, it really would. All right, let's wrap this shit up, Tim. We've been all the way through it. I must ask, do you hate this album?
I mean, I kind of do, Garrett. Here's the thing. Here's a caveat. There is 1 song I love and 2 songs I kind of like and would listen to again. But the album, I hate this. This is a greatest hits. Fuck you, Styx. Come on.
Interesting.
Come on. Again, I don't hate the band Styx. I think they have some hits. They belong on the radio, I guess. But this album? No, I hate this. What about you, friend? Did you get there? Did the bad outweigh the good here?
It's close. I'm going to be honest with you because I like Styx. I'm even going to say I like the band Styx. I'm super happy they made some songs. I'm going to put a number on it. There's no need for that. Let's not get crazy. But I really didn't enjoy it. I just didn't.
And this episode, I mean, we're going to have to tell them to look back, but I imagine we're going to have to cut a bunch of it to make it run along. This feels like a slog.
Yeah, no, it felt slow, listeners. We know it. We tried. Most of it's just...
Sorry.
When I'm with you, I'm smiling. Give me, whoa, 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 your love. Tim, I love it. God, you might have just turned it. I was about to drop the fucking hammer, but lady alone.
Garrett, that was less than 20% or less than 25% of this album.
That's a good point. You know what? I think I hate this album.
Yay! We hate it. We hate it together.
And of course, listener, if you love it, good for you. This is just two idiots' opinions on the internet.
Unless you
Don't get
love
upset.
Babe, in which case you are an idiot.
You have objectively poor taste. It's not our fault. Some people are tone deaf, Tim. Anyway, that's been the show. We enjoyed ourselves here today. We had a lot of fun, said some things we probably shouldn't have. If you want to talk to us, and we would love to talk to you, you can find us on Instagram, that's hatepod. On Twitter, that's album hatepod. hatePodMail@gmail.com. We've got Discord servers, we've got subreddits, we've got all the things. We're on the internet. We're not on Pandora Premium. You can just eat a big old sack of go fuck yourselves, Pandora Premium, and you know why. When you're ready to talk, come to us. We'll talk like adults. Till then, go fuck yourself. Anyway, I digress. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, recommendations. Folks, please don't write us an email that says, I don't know if you take recommendations. What's wrong with you? The whole show's wrong on it. We don't. We clearly don't. Just tell us what you want, and we might listen to it, and we might not. It's that easy. Any whoozlebeat, please do write in. We enjoy hearing from you on all those various platforms. And most importantly, if you enjoyed what happened here today, let somebody else know. That can be word of mouth, put it on the social medias, just take their devices and download the show. All of those things are equally the same. For this week, for next week, and a little bit for tomorrow morning. I've been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been Timothy P. Richardson, and Garrett P. Harvey returned from Wales bee-stung and singed from his Wicker Manning, but perhaps more interestingly, he came back with one of those Jesus cross rings on. Garrett, are you doing a Rivers Cuomo? Are you doing a Nikola Tesla? Or have you pledged your future celibacy to the Lord for a different reason?
I see what the issue is here. Hold on just a second. God, this marker's tight already.
Oh, it's an X. It's an X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Going straight edge. Oh, we have fun here.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gil.